Good evening and welcome to the Gen Z Manifesto. My name is Miss Kahiro. You see, my first line for this show tonight was to be justice for Albert Ojwang. We are barely recovering from his death as a nation, and now the Kenya police has yet again proven that they do not care for peace, they do not care for the law, they do not care for life. Yet another man down in broad daylight, a bullet in his upper body and a bag of masks in his hand. That was his only weapon in the streets today, where goons had a full-blown party harassing passers-by and peaceful demonstrators, while police officers seemed to escort them to do the unthinkable. Remember, the said peaceful demos were against police brutality that led to Albert Ojwang's death. Call it poetic, call it tragic, call it intentional. The bottom line is we are clearly under a rogue system. So tonight we ask, who is protecting these rogue policemen and why? Has police brutality become the norm in Kenya? Message us on our WhatsApp number and we'll be sure to read your feedback in a few. Meanwhile, I'm joined by my co-host, Kagina. Hi, Kags.
Hi, Miss K. It's a sad evening. This evening as we speak, Eli Joshua was out selling masks and now he's fighting for his life at Kenyatta National Hospital. You see, in this case, I do not know what narrative they will run with, because in the full glare of cameras, it will be hard to convince us that Eli hit his head against the wall. It will also be more difficult to convince us or try to bring a narrative that other demonstrators did attack him. Clearly, he was alone standing by a wall, harmless, with masks in hand. And now he joins the statistics of Kenyans who've ended up being mishandled by the police. This evening, we'll be looking at numbers from the Missing Voices Report 2024. And the numbers are glaring and worrying. As a Kenyan, it makes you ask yourself, are you safe? So we have a total number of enforced disappearances standing at 167, extrajudicial killings at 803. This is the report between 2019 and 2024. 2024 overview, the total cases were 159, enforced disappearances standing at 55. That is 450% increase from 2023, with extrajudicial killing taking 12%. Now, looking at the victim graphics for that year, 55 cases of enforced disappearances, 82% were male, 16% female, at least 2% cannot be accounted for. And now, the age group of them, 19 to 34, being 33% being the youth. We have adults considered to be between 35 and 50 years old at 9%. We also have minors standing at 4%. Now, again, you will see that we have a 49% of people whose age the report could not speak to. All this being part of the 55 cases of enforced disappearances recorded in the year 2024. We also had extrajudicial killings recorded at 104 cases. Now, the youth make up still the larger percentage of that with 29.8%. We have adults with 35 to 50%, to 50 years of age at 7%. We had minors standing at 6.7%, and an unknown number making up half of the total extrajudicial killings. This is worrying because we also have male leading on this front, probably due to their prominence in participation, but at least 91% of them were male and 9% were female. Peak month for the year 2024 was the month of June with 15 cases. That is for enforced disappearances. And for the extrajudicial killings, you can see clearly where it stands. Now, in Nairobi, led with numbers, 18 people, Kajiado 6 people, Kiambu and Machakos with at least 4 cases each for that year 2024. And now the top counties affected in terms of extrajudicial killings is 38, Nairobi leading, Kiambu 9, Kajiado and Migori 6 each. Now, the perpetrators, as per the report, are police officers with a whopping 82%. That's an A. We have ATPU, this is Anti-Terror Police Unit, with 7%. And another unknown category of people, mostly working with masks, civilian plates, accounting for 11%. Now, for the extrajudicial killings, police officers are leading with 89%. Kenya Police Reservists, 1%, and another 10% who mostly we say unidentified people holding the 10%. Now let's see at the legal accountability. Who was brought to justice? So we have 56% of the cases, they are ongoing cases. We have several, that is at least 15%, that are under investigation or currently in court. But we have 27% which they are neither here or there. We can't actually speak as to the progress of the legal cases. Now, IPOA has investigated at least 43 of the extrajudicial killings. No action has been taken to 50 of the cases. There have been at least 4 arrests, and the case in court is 1, while 6 could not be accounted for by the report. Now, these numbers are worrying, and we are in June, which was the peak of 2024, and in 2025 it appears to be the peak as well. But for now, tukubali tuungane na Majibu Kitsao kwa ground atuambie what's happening there. Kwa ground kunasemaje Majibu?
Kagina vile umesema niko ground tena, nimerudi leo mazee. Unajua sasa mimi nimekuwa kwa hizi maandamano tangu ile ya 25th June nikakava zote. So polisi wote nimeona, hata ya leo pia nimekuwa na nimeona kitu wamefanya. So kama ni issue police brutality, nafikiria this is the right time ya kubongea hii maneno mazee. Sasa sitaki kuongea mingi juu niko nao wenye nitaongea na wao pia on this whole issue ya police brutality. Wanaambia wana feel nani ana protect wa Kenya sahi. Kwanza wasenyo wamekuwa frontline kuandamana. Kuna bazenga hapa nitokayo, umekuwa frontline sana, wamekushika hapa wenyewe wamechoka. Hata ukikuja umekuwa limp, by the way na limp Okayo bana walimpiga marungu juzi. Hii issue bro, nani analinda wa Kenya sahi?
Sahi, actually I'm very sad. I'm very sad that Wakenya wako peke yao. The police officers who are supposed to be keeping peace and actually ensuring that Kenyans are safe are not doing that. Mimi Thursday, last week nimepigwa hii mguu yangu bado na limp. Leo nimeona what has happened in town. Honestly, it's so saddening that the police can actually use goons to come and attack Kenyans. And they are offering them security, offering them transport. And the state is sanctioning this because we can see a police officer anashoot mtu at close range. Close range. Na ajali, and they're walking like nothing has happened. I am so mad. I am so mad. And that means we have to find a solution for police brutality because it has become a norm. The state has sanctioned police brutality. William Ruto's administration has sanctioned police brutality, and they take care of everything. I know they are telling them that the police should do anything and everything in their means to ensure that they quell the protests and they will protect them. And we are also telling them that we are going to do anything and everything necessary. We shall use any means necessary to ensure that we actually fight police brutality. And I would encourage young people, Kenyans, let us employ active, non-violent measures to ensure that we deal with police brutality once and for all. Because hatuwezi pigwa, all right? We cannot be beaten, we cannot be killed, we cannot be shot at everywhere. Because the police right now, they are killing you in cells, they are killing you on the streets, they are killing you in churches, they are killing you at home. They are even coming for children, children who do not know nothing. Yeah. So honestly, we have to deal with them the same way they are dealing with us. But we are not going to be violent. We are going to employ active, non-violent measures to ensure that we deal with police brutality.
Sikiza ndio nakukujia kwenu. Mzaya kwa hapo mnakula lunch, hangoja hata umaliza hata kumeza bana kushika unarudi. Noma sana. Maiji unaitwa nani? Alafu hii issue ya police brutality. Wewe kama boys mko kutoka kwa demos, umeona kinyi kwa happen. Utabongaje hiyo story?
Mimi nasema tu ni noma. Kwanza sasa hivi venye kunaelekea kama hivi ndio venye kunaenda, by the time inafika 2027 itakuwa ni noma bro, kwa sababu mimi naona actually si story na police, mimi naona ni story na goons sana. Kwanza ukiangalia demo za leo na inaonyesha venye watu wako njaa, yani na njaa yako, hiyo njaa yako inafika mpaka wapi? Unaona kama mzee wa Albert Ojwang alichezewa 2 million kidogo anasifu the government and everything, na ni the same people wenye walichukua huyo mtu wake. So wewe niambie, Alafu saa hii unapata police, hujui police ni nani, hujui gun ni nani. Leo watu wamepewa mabati hapo, ni kunoma manze, itawa kupitiki, kila kitu ni ngori. Lakini sisi tunasemaje, tutaendelea tu ku fight the fight, kwa sababu hii nchi ni yetu, na wasifikirie like kidogo kidogo zinaweza tuzia uoga. Unaona, hao guns wanatoka kutoka kwetu. Watu wanafaa, kama you have a male person in your house mwenye ametokea kwa hizi demonstration, kama gun kama nani, akiletea mkate hapo kwa keja yenu, wewe unasikia aje mkikula mkate? Unasikia unika unakula mkate ya inchi ama unafanya nini? Watu wengi wana play sana na sisi, lakini mjue hii nchi, power belongs to the people, na ndio maana Kenya iko venye iko till date. Mimi nakwambia niko disappointed aja bro.
Umebonga sense sana maze, mpaka nimekafeel. Wewe kama ukafeel umekuwa kwa demos leo kama gun. Umepigwa punch kama ni ngapi umepatoa bro? Sitaki kuongea sana. Unaitwa nani alafu umeona kimiko ke happen? Kwanza leo ametuma guns, ni report nimefanya leo mimi mwenyewe. Guns wanasema na polisi. Polisi wameshindwa na kazi ama ni nini? Mbona pia mna feel safe mkitokea kama wanatuma guns?
Asante sana Majibu. My name kwanza ni Elisha Uchenga Lam. We are in a very sad state as a nation right now. And mahali tuko kama vijana, we are not safe. We are not feeling safe. The young people, hata wale wako kwa manyumba yao, they are not feeling safe all over the country. Because if you can just be picked and uende uliwe, and then the political class wanakuja na pesa, they mock your father, they force him to start thanking president, the political class forcing a grieving father because of some few money. So atuko mahali mzuri, we are not at anywhere safe kwa hii nchi sahi. We want to call upon those leaders, especially I've seen personally the governor of Homa Bay, Gladys Wanga, going to that grieving father's home, mocking him with money, forcing him to thank people. Anamwambia hata amesahau thank Raila. Anamwambia umesahau thank president. Tell him that you are very thankful amechukua mtoto wako kama yake. Can president go and kill Charlene Ruto? Can president summon DCI waende waue Charlene Ruto? So that was very shameful of the political elite, and we are not safe. We are not safe in this country as young people. Now we will take measures. Tunaona president is bragging that tuko disorganized and we are not doing anything. Actually, we are very clear on our mind that Ruto is not getting to 2027. Ruto is going to be half-term president, and we are mobilizing.
One term ni half-term.
It is half-term. We are not in any way waiting. It will be very unfortunate that Ruto gets it to 2027. And we are not ready as young people to go to an election with Ruto as the president. So we are mobilizing. And we are telling the young people who are being used by politicians to come and cause mayhem in town and steal from the people that we are in the middle of revolution, so choose your side. The revolution will remember those people who have chosen you their side well.
Asante. Amebonga kikamtoka. Nikuulize bro, unaitwa nani? Halafu umekuwa ukiona mse anatolewa kwao anakuja kudedi Nairobi in the hands of police, halafu anabonga, anatuambia, anatudanganya, anatuambia mse ati aligongesha kichwa kwa ukuta, of which ilikuwa uongo. Do you feel safe kama kijana?
Thank you first Majibu. My name is Dennis Maina. I am a Gen Z who advocates for the rights of the youth. Viva youth! Viva youth! Viva Gen Z! So Majibu, what I would like to say, today is a very, very sad day. Very, very sad day. Me personally, I don't feel safe as a Gen Z. I don't feel safe at all. Because whatever has happened today, whatever you guys have seen in your television, it's very sad, Majibu. A police shooting a young man who was selling masks, that's not good at all. I think the police, all of them, should go back to training. Should go back to Kiganjo or wherever they have done their training. Because how can you shoot a young person? That is a son of us. That is a son of someone.
Kiganjo na Embakasi wote warudi.
Wote warudi kwa sababu kama hiyo ndio kitu walipitia shule, si kitu fiti bana. That's not fair at all. So me I would kindly request the president actually akalisha makara wote chini awaongeleshe. Because this is not fair at all. Because we as a country, we as a youth, we are not feeling very safe.
Aya, Bazenga amebonga story ya makarao kwanza warudi daro wa training ni nini. Nikuje kwako maiji. Sawa tunaongea sore makarao, lakini saa hii makarao wanasaidiana na guns. Mkienda kutokea tena maandamano, nasema mtatokea tena sijui Thursday, next Tuesday na mtaandamana. Kama watatumia guns, mtaemploy njia gani mkuweze kutenganisha hawa ni guns na hawa ni peaceful protesters?
Guns tumewajua majibu. Hata leo kuna wenye walijulikana na wakapigwa vizuri. But as I've said, we are not going to disclose our means to them. We know our means, and I've said we are going to employ active non-violent means to deal with goons and even to deal with rogue police. So we are not going to I'm not going to disclose how we are going to do it, but just know we are going to do it. We cannot relent because goons wako kwa streets, and we shall not relent because the police wako na guns. We've seen those guns forever, and we shall continue seeing them. But we are going to employ means to ensure that we are also safe ourselves, because we cannot be at the mercy of the police and goons and the state and say that now tumeshindwa, hatuwezi, so tukae nyumbani tulale. Ojwang alikuwa kwa street, alikuwa na protest. He was not protesting. Ojwang was in his house. Alikuwa anaenda kukula lunch. All right? And we have quite a number of other people they've gone for people in their homes. They've gone for people in churches. They've gone for people in different locations. So nobody is safe in any place. And that means we have to, hatuwezi sema sasa tumechoka. Ati sasa wacha tukae. Tunakaa alafu watukujia hapo penye tumekaa watuue.
Unajua mama big kila time wa kibongo anasema tutafanya hivi. Prezo alisema not in my term as the president, ati sijui tutaona extrajudicial killings, mambo ya sijui Rivayala, amebonga mara mingi. Juzi Murkomen pia amepeana guidelines sijui kila police station kuwe na CCTV. Wewe unafikiri hizi ni stories za ajabu ama wase wenyewe wanajali? Briefly before nipate Bazenga chance.
Ni sawa. First, number one, Central Police Station iko na CCTV. So this was not a case of lacking CCTV in a police station. Kulikuwa na CCTV. Why were the footages erased?
Bas.
Number one, we cannot be safe hata na hizo CCTV. And number two, why would CCTV installation in 1,209 police stations take 2 years? Kwani hii 150 million yenye wanapeana ya security, what is it for? There's 150 million, that is a budget of 150 million. It should go to those installation of those CCTVs for police stations that do not have CCTVs. And we must not accept that footages can be erased, all right? Because tunaweza kuwa na CCTV na erase footages. What will that be of help to?
Aya, amesema yake kamtoka. Bazu pia hizo guidelines zote unadhani ni za kusaidia end police brutality ama pia ni stories za jaba?
Okay, kujibu hiyo swali kwanza lazima tujue nani yule leo amepigwa na bunduki. Mwenye amepigwa na bunduki was not a protester. Yule ni mtu alikuwa hustler ambaye alikuja kutafutia familia yake chakula. Ni kijana ambaye alikuja kutafutia familia yake chakula. So ni hustler ambaye President Ruto mwenyewe swore to protect the interest of the hustlers, the young people. So President Ruto turn back his massacre, anaua the young people ambayo yeye mwenyewe alisema ataprotect their business, ataprotect their interest. So President Ruto, whatever he is saying, you cannot believe, should not be believed, and his criminal regime must go home.
Aya, wamesema yao. Bazu pia wewe ni boys mazee. Ulisikia Murkomen na kibonga juzi. Ukihighlight hizo pointers alitoa za kuensure that wana end police brutality na kuna accountability kwa police force. Unadhani za kusaidia pia ama ni movie ya Netflix?
Mimi nasema hii ni Netflix moja hatari, kwa sababu ukiangalia tangu hadi police waingie mpaka saa hii ni nini yeye imekuwa ikimproviwa, iko in infrastructure, iko ni hata ni kutengeneza kabati ndogo ndogo pale kwa stage. Bado tukida kwa stage ando actually na kama hustlers kutushinda, which is corny, kwa sababu mbona sasa mkuje? I think hiki tu inafaa ikuwe ni a common ground, tufike hapo hivyo sisi wote, ama itakuwa tu ni noma. Hizo story unasikia CCTV zimewekwa ni nini, hizo ni vitu tu za kutufanya to feel ni kama tumekuwa battered hapo na tupaka tu peanut butter, lakini wewe jua tu mzee, hizo ni machocha, hizo ni stories za jaba, hakuna kitu kama hiyo inaweza happen.
Bazu, pia unasema tutafute popcorns tuendelee kuona hii movie ya stories za jaba ama rada ni gani?
Azizi majibu. Unajua vitu zingine hatuwezi kaa hapa chini tukiona hii gava ikifanya vitu tu anyhow. We are the ones who we elected them. Sisi ndio wadosi wao. So wao wanafaa kusikiza vile tunasema. Hawafai ati kukaa chini ati wakisema tunaongea stories za jaba. Hapana, wanafaa kutusikiza kwa sisi ni wadosi wetu. Wakicheza tu hivyo hiyo game ni sawa, lakini 2027 wote wabunge wote wanaenda home. Hiyo sikufiche, wabunge wote wanaenda home na tunawajua kabisa. Na so wache tu kucheza hii game mapema, watusikize kwa sisi ni wadosi wao. Sisi ndio HR majibu. So mimi ninaumwa sana nikiona vitu zikihappen. Mimi ile tax nalipa hapa kila siku nakata kwa payslip. Inaniuma sana nikiona vitu zingine zikihappen. Na naumwa sana nikiona ile do nimetoa inanunua risasi instead ya kwenda kwa Al-Shabaab inaua msee. Hiyo sio kitu fiti majibu. So mi naomba accountability. Hii gava lazima ikuwa accountable, very much accountable, na waeke vitu in the open. Waache kufanya tu vitu anyhowly because sisi ndo kusema, sisi Gen Z, sisi ndo leaders wa.
Umesema hao ndo leaders wa kesho, ndo ma-HR. Wacha leaders wa leo. Makosa ni yangu basi, leaders wa leo. Haya, umesema nyinyi ndo ma-HR. Wewe kama HR wa Murkomen basi mpige lecture kidogo, mwambie kile anafanya kudu.
Jambo ya kwanza, I don't want to talk to Murkomen. That man ana brag, it looks like he owns the monopoly of intelligence, that and is really stupid.
Bana ni maoni yake. Hapana bro. Wacha niseme basi ni maoni ya kiongozi hapa, si maoni ya Media Max.
Si maoni ya Media Max. All sovereign power belongs to us. It doesn't belong to Murkomen. We don't beg it from Ruto. We don't beg it from anybody. So
usimtusi man.
Belongs to us. Akiona nimemtusi, kuna sheria ya kunihukumu na tunapatana pale kwa court. But wow, they don't want to go to court kwa sababu if I say ni mjinga basi nitahakikisha nimejitetea kwamba ni mtu mjinga.
Haya ni maoni yake. Okayo, briefly tu nikirudisha studio. Briefly tu.
We are so sad as Kenyans and as the young people, the revolutionary Gen Z movement, because this is a revolutionary time. We are so sad and we can't keep losing our young people anyhow. We can't keep losing people at the hands of the police. And that means we must be able to protect ourselves. And we must design ways to protect ourselves because the state has failed in its role to protect its people. So the people must and shall protect themselves because all sovereign power belongs to the people. And who are the people? We are the people. Who are the people?
We are the people.
Yes.
Briefly nasema hao ndo wenye gava mli. Briefly tu bro, kwa kifupi tu before nirushe studio, wewe sana nataka uongelesha ugunzo umetumwa leo, tuambiaje?
Mimi majibu au magunzo umetumwa leo. Actually, I don't know who amewatuma. I don't know who is the behind those people. Kwa sababu ukiona vizuri majibu hata umeona how guns walikuanga nyuma ya makarao, and you start to wonder how can the policemen protect those guns? Au guns ndio umeona walikuwa naiba kwa maduka za watu. Actually kuna a lot biashara za watu wengi zimeharibiwa sana. And I want to tell the guns watusikize kabisa. Sisi kama Gen Z kwa hiyo maandamano tunawajua na bring them out. We shall bring them out because we know them by name. Na tunawajua wametumwa na nani na make sure tumewaanika kwa social media. Sisi wote make sure hata tumewasalimia. Lazima hiyo lazima.
Haya, unasema salamu lazima. Ni majenzi bana wamebonga Kagina na Miss K mkiwa stu bana, lakini nachoma kiasi. Haya, ndio hiyo. But tumesikia wamebonga sana, wameaddress sana mapolisi, wenye wanatumia force force protesters nini pia collaborate na guns. Kwanza guns wenye wametumwa leo wanasema si fiti. Kwa gava wamesema hao ndo ma-HR bana. Msikize Kenya wanasema. Na mbona nafaa kupeleka break, lakini kutoka ground bana umesikia venye majinzo wamebonga wanasema tarudi streets, lakini wale maguns msijaribu bana, na polisi mfuate katiba article 37 na 244. Mimi msoma katiba bana, msije kunifundisha na mambo.
Kameme TV.
One day, you will eat, walk, and talk like royalty. I need you to wake up.
Uko aware this is not a game?
Make it happen.
We need to shut this business down.
Hii biashara ndo kila kitu kwenye hii familia. Nikufe ama nisikufe.
Kama mbaya, mbaya.
An eye for an eye.
What is your family involved in? Go close to take control over the hearts of empire. When you know Mazana.
Kila tunapopitia majaribio maishani, sio kutuonyesha udhaifu wetu, bali ni kutusaidia kugundua uwezo wetu. Basi tuzilaki changamoto za maisha, kwani zinatunua na kututayarisha kwa siku za usoni.
Kupata uwezo wetu kama sikiza tune yako, dial *811 *615 #.
Umenivunja mkono. Umeniua. Kwa nini uniue?
This Wednesday on the People Dialogue, are Kenyans safe? Are you safe? Is the country experiencing an aggressive return of state repression?
No one else should die. The Ministry of Interior suffers from leadership crisis.
More than 150 cases of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances in 2024 alone. The number now growing in 2025.
Article 26, right to life, bado wamebreak. Hakuna venye comrade anaweza kufia kwa cell and then tukuje tuambie atalijipigisha ukuta.
Is the state protecting its citizens or persecuting them?
National Police Service is turning into a deep thorn.
We must also find resources to expeditiously make our police station safe haven for those who are going there to get justice.
The People Dialogue, Police Brutality and Enforced Disappearances. On Wednesday, only on K24 and Kameme TV.
Hihi wina kioria kana woni wegie umemerekia wa Kameme TV. Twandikire woni waku kuhitukira Facebook @Kameme TV Kenya, X @Kameme TV Kenya, na twandikire email kuhitukira info@mediamax.co.ke. Kameme TV, muthigi wa ruriri.
And welcome back. This is the Gen Z Manifesto, the one and only show that gives Gen Zs a space on national TV to speak about national matters that affect them. And tonight we are asking, police brutality imekuwa norm? Tumeona story ya Albert Ojwang, tena leo ndio huyo Eli Joshua has been shot. He was not armed with anything but a bag of masks. Police brutality imekuwa norm. Let's take some feedback from you guys at home watching us. Okay, one of you says, it seems that police brutality is normal in this government. The killers are highly protected and most are untouchable. Does the police who kill have a child or a Gen Z relative? Is it hard to find justice in this country? And the question is, who then is protecting the rogue policemen? Another person says, it is so disheartening if this is the country we could say we are safe in. Are you safe? That's one of the questions I'm going to ask our guests here tonight. Do you feel safe in Kenya? Another guy says, hello, I'm Justin. I'm a resident of South Sea and I have to say is my trust in our men and women in uniform is irritating now. My suggestion should be the ICC. And speaking of women in uniform, there's one clip circulating of a police woman in Mombasa slapping one of the protesters. I mean, come on, Tunadu. One of you guys at home says, these gangs will morph into militias. No, that's how Haiti, Somalia, Afghanistan became ungovernable, period. Well, another person says these police officers must be brought into book. They are actually using a lot of energy. Energy nayo wako nayo. The adrenaline seems to be too much here. Another person says, hawa polisi wanafaa kuwa na utu. Kama sasa huyo polisi aliuza huyo mwana alimshoot huyo mwanabiashara. Nini nauliza Mungu 2027 itafika siku gani? 2027 una plan kudu nini 2027? You should tell us. Asango says, I'm worried what Kenyans have become. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday kanisani. I think these are hypocritical pretenders. Solution, acheni kwenda mosque, pia church. You think you can fool God. Haya basi Asango. In fact, we have a youth pastor with us today who is going to tell us what's the stand of the church with what is happening in the country. Blesson Mongare says, it's so sad a whole police officer shooting an innocent person in the street of Nairobi. Huyo police officer ashikwe na achukuliwe hatua. In fact, the police units wametoa statement saying that they have actually arrested the person who shot. His name is Eli Joshua. So maybe there is progress. We will follow up this story to where it goes. Another person says, how police wenye waliua Albert kuanzia Lagat mpaka chini waachishe kazi na kufungwa maisha, na hao leo tayari washikwe na kufungwa na tayari unataka wote wafungwe, right? Eliud Lagat ali step aside. All right, we are going to hear what stepping aside actually means. We have a lawyer in the house who will tell us. Another person says we have to come up na solution ya hii extrajudicial killings from police, and I totally agree with you. As we speak about this, there is this one video I want us to watch together, just to see, ni kama tunaongea lugha the same na our dear president. Here we go.
It is not necessary for me to establish another task force when IPOA is there, and it is squarely within their mandate to tell us how did Kenyans end up being killed in this manner. And then it was business as usual. 30 bodies in Yala. There's 17 bodies in Garissa. I don't know how many bodies were. You know, people, you know, there was a container here at the Nairobi area where people were being slaughtered in a police station. How did we end up there? You know, what kind of rogue, you know, institution? And that is why I fired that Kinoti man. You know, because, I mean, it's not right, good people.
The president said it is not right. This is a past video, ya Prezo, yeah? Anasema, this rogue policeman should be, wapati punishment, right? Now, sir, let me come to you. You were here last Tuesday, and you had been hurt by people who were masked when you were doing the vigil for Eliud Lagat. Unasikia Prezo, kitambo alisema, alikuwa on the same page na sisi. Do you think he is still on the same page with us?
No. In fact, the president is not with us and has never been with us since he was in power or has been into power. Because right now what we are seeing and experiencing is that now a murderer, a thief, and a witch doctor, they have united. So what are we expecting as Kenyans? So I leave it to Kenyans to answer for themselves. Yesterday, the goons, they came live, told us that tomorrow we will do this and this and this. And what we are seeing is the same way what they said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
okay, so
there's nothing, the president is with us, no, and he has never been with us.
Okay.
And will never be with him.
Thank you so much. Maybe pass the mic to Fidel. Fidel, do you feel safe? Yeah, tunaona mapolisi ni kama wako in cahoots na the goons wanapatia escorts according to the videos we've seen today. Do you feel safe as a Kenyan?
First of all, let me take this opportunity to share my utmost disbelief following the shooting of one Eli Joshua who we were with. If you look at my shirt, I have his blood stains even on my shoes as we were taking him to hospital. Someone who was just selling masks has been shot by a rogue police officer working at Kamkunji police station called Benjamin Talui. Anyway, to answer your question, you know, in other states we have mafia, but in Kenya we have a mafia called Yamune Cartel. we went out to protest against Albert Ojwang, whose main reason for killing was because he posted that one Eliud Lagat, former DIG, said that he posted that Eliud Lagat gets bribes or is the one who is under receivership of the bribes. So if you look at all these things, you ask yourself, where are we going to get justice? And that is why I usually say that the magic of human achievement can only be realized when youths understand nationalism and practice it. Because this and only this will become the vanguard against humanity. Let us not call this police brutality. This is a mafia. These people are killing. Albert was killed by one cartel called under instructions of one Eliud Lagat. He has been protected. And suddenly now PC Mukwana is saying that they were under instructions and payment from the DIG. We should, at this moment, Kenya is an unsafe country. The next thing we are going to do, we are going to occupy these places. We will be forced to go into states like Haiti, states like Somalia, or worse, states like South Sudan, which the same cartel in our country is taking arms there to ensure that they also cause instability in that place. So don't come into these spaces of national television. I really don't think that it is right to say that William Ruto has been with us. This man says ABCD and jumps like a kangaroo to another thing.
Thank you, Fidel. Thank you. Thank you,
So
Fidel.
William Ruto is not a good man. He's a liar.
Thank you. Let me get to hear from you, our lawyer, yes? First of all, you're doing an amazing job with your platform, educating people on matters law.
Thank you very much.
You spoke about a certain act, right?
Yes.
That you, according to you, it's what gave the policemen the leeway to do things as they did in the Albert Ojwang's case. Kindly take us through that.
Yes. I've been speaking about this specific act, and it's called the Computer Misuse and Crimes Act. And surprisingly, it was put in motion by Honorable Aden Duale, who has been part of this rogue regime. The reason why this act is very critical for us to analyze and look at it is because whenever you're making an arrest as a police officer, it must be justified under law, right? You have contravened a certain act, you'll be charged under a certain act. So for a very long time, the courts were very clear, and in a certain landmark case, which was Geoffrey Andera versus the Attorney General, which it said that Section 194 of the Penal Code, which criminalized defamation, is unconstitutional. And this happened after a certain boy was arrested for publishing certain information that was considered false in the media. And the court was very clear that the laws that we have when it comes to civil accountability is enough to hold someone who has committed a crime of defamation. But what happens? Honorable Aden Duale passes another law that is called Computer and Misuse Crimes Act. Then he enacts a certain section, Section 22. This same section revites and also brings back whatever was considered as unconstitutional by the court. Now that Section 22 provides that anyone who publishes false information regarding even public offices or public officials will face up to 2 years imprisonment or 5 million fine. So you ask yourself, if you are going to criminalize defamation or maybe publishing certain information, what kind of fear are you going to create for youths in the country? And right now, the unfoldings that is happening in the country within a few months has proven to us that the allegation that there's been a mafia or maybe a section of group of people who are getting orders from above to abduct people can be considered as true right now. Because if you look at the internet right now, there are allegations that the reason why DIG Lagat cannot be arrested is because he's a henchman to Ruto. He's the henchman in the ministry or in the Ministry of Interior or the National Police Service. And even there were allegations that the reason why DIG Lagat cannot be arrested or put to charge is because he is going to be the person who will be taking over the ministry or the National Police Service before 2027 in preparation for the elections. So you ask yourself, if this act is still in place, the person we are alluding will be in control of the National Police Service come 2027. Are you safe as a citizen?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We've heard from a lot. Let me hear from a pastor, the youth pastor with us in the room. Church inasemaje juu ya hii story? No, si to cheat.
I think one, the silent voice of the church might not be so public, but I think the church is also tired. Especially the young clerics or young clergy, mapasta kasisi, tumechoka.
But do you have the luxury ya kuchoka? You mkichoka and then now, what about us?
Kuchoka in this sense. We are tired about the perennial lying, the perennial constitution, lack of honoring the constitution, and we are tired of how the corruption is continually increasing in the country. And so I think the church where it is, I think tuko a hard place and a rock. Mm-hmm. And I think the young generation of pastors like us, we are taking over the voices of probably the senior clergy to continue to push where they are tired and to continue to amplify that whatever is happening, number one, is not biblical. Because as I study the Bible as a pastor, that human life, it is only belongs to God. God is the only one who has set the numbered days of a human life. And he knows when it will come to an end and how. And the other thing I look at the scripture is that those in power collaborate to do good and to bring benefit to the people. But what we are seeing in our country is totally the opposite of what we expect. And so the church as it is tired of the situation we are in, and in the public declaration of scripture in our Sunday pulpits, the messages are increasing, calling out for justice, calling out for the right thing to be done. And I think as a church, I think with the awakening that is happening in the church, I believe with the voices that are happening of young people and the church, I think we are headed in the right direction to continue to put pressure for what we stand in the Bible and what God has put forth that guides us in our calling and in our belief, and in the Bible that our president sweared to stand by.
Thank you so much, Pasi. That was almost turning to a sermon, but we appreciate you. And we'll get back to you in a minute. Kagina, what are you your side?
Well, indeed. You see, now that we are from church, there's a story told of a man called Moses. In his time, the king had ordered all the midwives to ensure that the firstborns of the Israelites were dead in order to disinherit them, for he had heard some prophecies. Now, we understand there's a chain of command within the police service. Please be the midwives who chose not to kill Moses and save the nation by ensuring that lives are kept. And joining me on this part of the studio is Sophie Njehia, a youth leader. We also have Kigonda Collins, who is a civil rights activist par excellence. Starting with Collins. Police brutality from where you sit, imekuwa norm?
Okay, thank you for hosting me, and for hosting us in this show. First of all, I would love to tender condolences to Albert Ojwang's family and to the many youths who've actually lost their lives. The reason why we are here today, we are here because of police brutality becoming a norm. And it's not actually becoming a norm, but it's actually a norm. It's a norm that is existing. And not so many people are not talking about it, because it's a norm that from the president all the way to people in the officers in the military, officers in the police department, make it a norm. So it's actually a norm. It's not becoming a norm per se.
All right, and probably to come to Sophie, as a youth leader and as an aspiring leader, for an elective post in the future, most of the people who are condemning police brutality are never in government. and you want to join the leadership of this country, where would you say is the place for calling out what is right and wrong, especially among our leaders?
You see, Kagina, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. When this regime of coup, Abila Break, got into power, the senior-most muuaji stood up and said that he will rescue the police force and the DCI from state capture. But what are we experiencing today? If the head of state has promised to rescue Kenyans from state capture, yet he is the one who has captured the police, the DCI, the NIS for his own doings, what is the place of an elected person when it comes to bringing change? I have a question to you, Kagina. What is the character of a policeman? As a youthman, my fellow youthman, what do you think is the character of a policeman? You cannot describe a policeman in Kenya without the word corruption in there, without the word brutality, without the word violence, without the word sadistic. These are characteristics of a police officer in Kenya today. And if, let it be known to you, Kagina, today, there is no database for NIS. There is no oversight body for NIS. So as Kenyans, we do not know the people who are moving on the streets that are under the payroll of NIS in Kenya today. There is no database, there is no oversight body.
But that would be the nature of the job.
So personally, as an elected member, it is first of all to install an oversight body for these people. It is first of all to install a database for the NIS, because they have proven to be used by the state for one person or a few people's gain to take away people's lives, yet the Constitution has given life sovereignty in Kenya.
But Sophie Nje here, are we short of an oversight body? Because as we speak, we already have an independent police oversight authority, which time and again, fact after another, they have been accused of reluctance in executing their duty. What we need currently, do you think, is just another oversight body?
Of course, we do not need another oversight body, because there is more use of our tax as Kenyans. But there are specific people in Kenya, including IPOA, who are aiding the state to kill Kenyans and to cover up for that. In this matter of Albert Ojwang, we have seen the DCI, we have seen the IPOA try to hide this murder. Let me tell you for a fact, Kagina, had we not protested on Monday and insisted to see Albert's body, today Albert's father would be planning Albert's burial, because the story of him hitting his head on the wall would have floated. But this government has so many aids. The cabinet itself is aiding the government, the police themselves are aiding the government, and even private companies, for example, another green one over there, is aiding the government to give out our locations, and that is why they are able to come for us.
All right, we've heard statements of denial from various bodies and organizations as mentioned. But coming to you, Collins, when the youth of a country do not feel safe where they are, and especially with police officers, how do you feel personally? If you feel like it has become the norm, police brutality, what is your confidence in terms of your safety, and should you need help, do you still go to the police?
I don't have confidence on me living. Living in Kenya now has become like gambling. I might be alive today, and tomorrow or the next minute I'm not there, because the police has taken upon themselves to track us, just using the green company to track us, and nobody is guaranteed. More so, if you're a critic of the government, then you're not guaranteed of your safety, you're not guaranteed of your life. And these actually goes to everybody, be it you're in the streets, be it you're in the house. Because of Albert Ojwang, in the case of Albert Ojwang, he was taken from his own home, using state machinery to locate him. Where he's located is in Mombasa, but the state used its machineries to locate him when he went back home. That tells you that everybody is monitored and nobody is safe. And to also say that nobody is safe again, you find that Albert was taken to the police, where most of us perceive that it's a safe place. But the police, the same police, end up giving us stories that Albert hit his head on the wall. The same police are trying to sell us a narrative that Albert hit his head on the wall, and again they're telling us now to believe that Albert, Mukwana are part of the people who murdered Albert. So who do we believe? We are no longer safe. That is what I would say.
And if everyone is actually monitored and tracked, as you allude to, then how would you explain police not being able to track the perpetrators that often, violate human rights?
Sorry?
Now, I mean, if the way you allude to that, everyone is actually tracked, how then does that not make it easier for police to actually get everyone who is violating human rights?
They're not getting everyone, and what they are doing is to get people who are vocal. People who are vocal, people who critique the government. If they've analyzed you, they've checked on you, and you're so vocal online, and most of this actually happens to people who are vocal online. I'm vocal online. That I would say openly. I'm one of the targets of the police with threats, and not only me, people who they think probably are on the streets and trying to counter them. Those are the people that the government actually attacks.
All right, we'll be pushing to hear more as to how you are, making your way through despite being vocal and continuing to call for justice and human rights being kept and honored in this country. But even as we continue with that, I'll keep reminding you to continue following this conversation right on K24 TV as well as Kameme TV, and responding to the question of the day where we ask, is police brutality becoming the norm? But before we head for this short commercial break, Jay here, as a youth now, with what is the current trend as the police have been behaving, do you see a way out in the near future?
Actually, as a matter of fact, that would be a question I believe we should pose to the head of state and his Kuzurura Bila Break regime, because he has stood up and he has said that we have no plan. So since he is the one we have mandated to have a plan, how does he plan to restore sanity in this nation? How does he plan to restore the relationship between the citizens and the police? How does he plan? You see, they're bringing in new reforms. I would like to ask you, do you think that is a reform, or that is just a new way for them to steal money from Kenyans in the name of acting? We have become a country that is reactionary. We do not, as a leader, you're supposed to preempt problems. This regime does not preempt problems. It waits for the problem, finds solutions so that they can make money for themselves. So no, they don't have a plan, but we have a plan. And the first order is to take political power.
All right, we'll be coming back to that conversation in a short while, but for now, allow us to take this short commercial break. Don't go far.
Daily, Kenya's trusted newspaper, is making history as the first daily to go fully digital. By transitioning from print to the PD News app, we are delivering the same exceptional journalism you've relied on for years in a completely new way to experience it. It's news for today and the future. No paper, no waste. Just real-time updates and customizable stories. This is a leap towards innovation, sustainability, and a better experience for you, our reader. Download the PD app now on Play Store and App Store. People Daily. News that moves with you.
Matuko maninagwo nĩ gũkĩa na nĩkĩo Farmhold Ventures Limited, kambuni ĩrĩa kũrekaine harĩ wendia na wĩigithia wa ng'ũndũ, ĩtigagĩrĩra nĩ yamũrehera project ciĩngũrani na mwĩhoko mwerũ nĩ gũkorwo kwĩhokwo nĩ ndwano ĩtahĩtagia kĩũngũyũ.
barabara-inĩ nene ya Thika Garissa Road o ndagĩka 10 tu kuma taũni nene ya Matu tũkamũrehera Ikatini Gardens na thogora wa 230 na kuo mwena wa Gĩthioko o ndagĩka 5 tu kuma Rami-inĩ tũkamũrehera Evergreen Gardens Phase 2 brodi cia 50 by 100 na thogora wa 130
na warĩkia kwĩgwatĩra title deed ĩguoko
no tũcerere wabici-inĩ itũ Riruton Doctors Plaza second floor kana wabici itũ ya Thika Maisha Heights third floor. Namba itũ ya thimũ nĩyo 0704 000 333.
Crowd goes absolutely emphatic. He has done it.
Get ready for more on Supersport, the only place to watch all the FIFA Club World Cup.
Hihi wina kĩũria kana woni wĩgiĩ ũmemerekia wa Kameme TV? Twandĩkĩre woni waku kũhĩtũkĩra Facebook @Kameme TV Kenya, X @Kameme TV Kenya, na twandĩkĩre email kũhĩtũkĩra info@mediamax.co.ke. Kameme TV, mũthĩgi wa rũrĩrĩ.
And welcome back. This is the Gen Z Manifesto. Kazi yetu hapa ni kuongea itutoke, and we are talking about police brutality. Swali ya leo ni police brutality imekuwa norm. One of our guests there actually amesema imekuwa, it has been forever. It has been a norm. See it's news by now. And let's hear some feedback from you guys at home. Police brutality imekuwa norm. Hello. Now, before I read this comment, forgive my Kikuyu, okay? But people are watching on Kameme TV, so we will read this from Pastor Mokodi. Hello, Jetawa Pastor Mokodi, Kuma Karagatha, Kinangop, Nyandarua County. Haria reu tokinyete, gotire na thayo fororine, na reu adono maherire, na mashokere gai. Ne gai oregete muthamaki, ta orea aregire Sauru ni ũndũ wa kunyarira andũ ake. Pastor Mukunde anasema it's about time that we confess and turn back to the Lord, and that this regime imekataliwa kama ile ya Saul, because this regime aiendanishani vizuri na watu wake. Okay, thank you so much Pastor Mukondi for that. Another person says watu wenye wanafaa kuangalia wananchi ni watu wa kupigia rais makofi. All right. Another person says, hi, I am Panga. Hi, I'm Panga. Actually, the police brutality has become a game. It's so unfortunate having seen an innocent man being shot at a close range. This should stop immediately. And as we know, he's fighting for his life in hospital. We pray that he comes out of this healthy. Amen. Gava should be very careful in its undertakings. Covering goons is really, really bad. All right, we have seen goons being very confident in the streets. Another person says Kenyans are on their own. The police aren't there to secure the masses. Instead, they secure the rungu-wielding thugs. So the state can no longer secure the business community, and they have left that job for the rogue armed goons. It is truly a sad state. Let's hear again from the people up at Kwa studio. I want to come to you, Maji. What are your thoughts on what is happening in Kenya? Tulikuwa kwa streets because of Albert Ojwang, and now another person has been shot. What comes to mind when you see all this happening?
From where I sit, my message to police officers, we are not your enemies. When we raise our voices, we are not criminals. When we go to the streets, we don't go with weapons. We go with placards, flags, and water. Why shoot someone? Why kill someone? We call for justice. We demand for protection, not oppression from police officers. Let your uniform stand for peace, not pain in this country. You know, sometimes it is uncalled for, it is unconstitutional, where police officers, they take illegal orders from above. Abducting, killing, and torturing Gen Z, it is not a way to go. And we cannot build this country through violence and bloodshed. We are all Kenyans. This country belongs to all of us. So police officers, care about us. We are your brothers and sisters. We are fighting for this country, for a better tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And your brother here says, you know, we are not fighting you, police officers. Do you feel like that's the case? Do you think police officers think that we are fighting them, like we are the enemies? Do you feel safe with the police officers?
Thank you so much for that question. My name is Kim Proper. I'm a filmmaker. And I want to thank all of you for organizing such a talk where we can have a voice heard to the government and to the people out there. To answer your question about do I feel safe, I'll paint a picture for you. First, I'll tell you what I observed in the morning. When I told my family I was coming here to talk about police brutality, you should have seen their faces. Everyone is concerned and everyone is thinking, okay, do you really want to do that? They can see the dangers that come with just raising your voices and telling people the truth. The other thing, I was talking to a friend of mine who happens to be in Israel, and I was telling him to try and stay safe. And he told me, no, you try to be safe. You can imagine such a person is so concerned. He thinks that you are in danger being in Kenya talking about police brutality than the people who are even being bombed and everything. Mm-hmm. Let me say this. There was a time we used to talk about police officers being utumishi kwa wote. Today, after the clip that I just watched, I'll say it's police officers utu umewaisha wote. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you that. Sometimes you don't need the training they take. Sometimes you just need to be human. Finally, let me mention this to the government. I am a big fan of history, and I'll tell you this. Nature has never been fair to people who play God. Listen, there is God and you're not one. You can be touched, and people are noticing. And let me tell you something. Someone has been speaking saying, oh, we have a plan, you guys don't. Let me tell you something. Don't be so sure. Maybe you don't. Because if you had, this thing would be in your way. But at the moment, no one is going to protect you. Finally, there is a book I was reading, and it says that you can kill the messenger, but not the message. But at the moment, the government will kill the messenger and follow the message. You kill the person who was bringing the message to us, and then you want to change the stories. You wear a police uniform, and then you go on public, calling numbers of cameras and media companies, telling them lies. Now, that is punishable. That is the biggest mistake. Actually, that is twice as worse as murder. Because now you're killing the person, and you're killing everybody else who thought could fight for them. I think we should be very, very careful with what we're telling the nation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And as we speak about police brutality, inakanika iko far-fetched, we have Miss Nina here who has a story about police brutality, her personal story. Please tell us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. First, I'll have to say that it's quite an irony that the same people who are supposed to protect us are the people who are killing us. And as much as we have to be, justifiably angry about what we are now seeing, we should be able to, or we should rather acknowledge the underbelly of this rogue system, because it's not just about what you're seeing right now. It's about those silent, quote-unquote, silent harassments that happen in our day-to-day life, to a point that we've normalized it, that a police officer will just look at you and tell you, nitakufiatua risasi na hakuna pale nitapelekwa. I mean, they don't fear. And personally, I've had such harassments before more than 3 times. I've been threatened with a gun for simply refusing to, to respond to some hints from a cop.
Some hints, you mean?
Alikuwa ananikatia.
Wow.
Kwa barabara. Nikakataa kumsikia.
And
he was like,
you?
he just leaned in and he told me, you know what, niko na bunduki na nitakufiatua hapa na kuna pale nitapelekwa. And it was shocking. But out of all those instances that I've had, I've had this interaction with them, it came over to last year, around November 7th, I had a really nasty interrogation, or rather an altercation. With a policeman. And it's all because of just me questioning. And how it all started is that I have my friends. My friends, they're Colombians. They're 2 young men from Colombia. And they were here for a theater festival. And around that time, they told me, you know what, they just want to experience Nairobi. Yani, ni my youth too, but the color of their skin is ni wazungu. Everybody's ni wazungu. And I remember that day they came to me and they told me, oh, unaweza tupeleka, take us to a supermarket. You want to buy this and this. And I remember we went to Carrefour, along Monrovia Street. And we went in, did our shopping, and it was around 7:30 p.m. It wasn't that late. And when we were heading back, I noticed 2 men following us. But for me, it didn't register, because for us, we just 3 friends just walking and tunapiga stories zetu. And these guys stopped us the first time. And at first, in Nairobi, you cannot just stop for just anyone. So we just continued walking until finally they came in front of us and they stopped us. And the one thing, for me, I asked them, okay, ninaendelea, what's wrong?
They are not in uniform?
They are not in uniform.
Right.
And they just, ignored me and they went direct to my friends and they were like, show us your passports.
Who are foreigners.
Who are foreigners. So show us your passports. So mi niko zile za, ngoja kwanza, nyini akina nani, mjitambulishe kwanza. I mean, you cannot just show up and ask for their passports. And one thing I noticed about these guys who usually harass, most of the time they walk in 2s. So there's the angry one and there's the good one. And this angry one was just like, alikuwa ananitusi for the first time in my life, niliitwa malaya. Malaya amekuja Nairobi kulala na wazungu.
I'm so sorry.
So anyways, it escalated to a point where now they called in the, inaitangwaje gari yao? Ni Mariamu ama itangwa? Mariamu. And around that time, I tell you, it was so shocking that they even called like backup from the people.
Take us to when they took you to the police station.
So
as you wrap it up.
Yeah. So they took what happened. Actually, the fight started from Monrovia Street because now I had to protect my friends. They put them in cuffs, so they bundled them up into in the police van and they drove them off with them. And for me, I just followed behind them. And when I got to Central Police, I came walifika vile nimefika tu wamefika na mimi nikafika, and they were talking about me and sorry.
Okay.
So they were saying that, kuna malaya fulani hapo tumeacha huko kwa barabara, alikuwa analeta vurugu. And I remember being pinned to the wall. Nilitoka because I realized now it's a problem. I just walked out of Central and I was pinned to that wall.
By the
gate.
Police officer?
Yes, by a lady. She's usually there.
A lady
police officer. She pinned me to the wall. And the next thing, like 8 of them were surrounding me. Everyone was shouting, oh, wewe unadhania ni nani, utatufunza kazi na nini. And that's when I was dragged in.
I hear you.
I was dragged into Central Police. I was, on the ground. All of them were surrounding me. Everything was happening too fast. And when I was in there, they just got me wakanirusha ndani. And then from there, just nikasikia nikigeuziwa mashtaka huko ndani.
Right. I want us to pause kidogo because I need to go to someone else. And I wish we had more time to hear this story, but clearly we have heard you were assaulted by a police officer, a female police officer, for simply trying to stand up for your friends. Brutality. There you go. Let's hear from you kindly. Just mbio kidogo. You've had such a story here. We've seen Albert Ojwang, story ya leo pia. What comes to mind? And maybe you could give us your recommendations to the government. How do we move on from this?
Kwanza nasema pole sana kwa mwenzetu ambaye tumeona yale ambayo yametendeka siku ya leo, na sisi kama vijana na mimi kama kijana, For real, we are not happy with the government. We are not happy with the system. We are not happy with you, our president.
What would you recommend? Yeah.
Kitu ambayo ningependekeza. For now, mimi kama kijana, ninaomba mambo ya kuua vijana, mambo ya kushika vijana, isipofika mwisho, we are coming for you, our Mr. President. Hatutaogopa, utaua wale wenye watakuwa mbele, lakini wenye tutabaki, we are coming for you.
Thank you so much. Let me hear from Mwana City. Mwana City tumekuwa kwa streets, your videos have been trending, bado tu unatokea tena. What keeps you going, you know? Yet watu tu wanatishiwa, Okayo alitishiwa, but he still anatokea kwa TV. What keeps you going, Mwana City?
One thing, habari zenyu, naitwa Precious or Mwana City. I'm happy to be here again. It's not like I like trending. It's like the government is making us do some weird things that they should understand that we are getting tired in this thing. First of all, I'll just say the case of Albert Ojwang, the DCI said Ojwang said a false statement about Big Lagat. But DCI Amin has lied to the press of our population of Kenya. Lagat has lied. IG Kanja has lied. So what should they be done? Should they be killed as Albert Ojwang? That's a question I'm throwing it to the government of Kenya. Mr. President, today you said while we were in the demonstration that we are making a lot of noise and you want to transform the country. Transforming the country is killing us in the streets. A question to you. And it's like, I'm just sad at the moment that a young person was standing. It has been a hard day. One thing, one of my friend Okayo was hit after a threat from a policeman outside Central Police Station. Just 2 days after that, he was hit. So the policeman who threat Okayo, just prepare yourself, totally prepare yourself. Another thing, Benjamin Talui, the man who has killed the innocent Eli Joshua on the streets today. We know you are appointed in Kamkunji Police Station, and as like, I know you'll be covered because you are Talui. So as like, whoever will cover you, and as like they think they'll cover you forever, you've messed with the wrong blood. That man is still alive. If you thought you have killed him, you have not killed him. He's still breathing, and if you want to go finish him at Kenyatta Hospital, just go do it with the guards that usually say that the CCTV of the police, of the hospitals are fake, as the DCI said 2 days before yesterday, that Bagadi footage are lies about the police. So we are totally sad with this nation. As youths, as the way you want to call us, people will abuse us in the online things, but totally our country is shedding a lot of tears. A lot of our hearts are broken, and we are not going to accept this. Totally, we are not going to accept this. I think so we are covered by the blood of Jesus. We pray a lot. We have parents who pray for us. So we don't fear, as you say you are praying for the nation, our parents pray for us. So we thank everyone who is praying for us and who has stood for us. And the journey has not yet stopped. We are totally courage today and fully for another war.
Thank you. Thank you, Mwana City. Kagina, back to you.
Well, indeed, let's get the final and closing remarks from my side of the panel, starting with Collins.
Okay, I'll give my final submission. First, I would like to tell the public that you're not safe. Nobody's safe. If Eli was on the streets actually selling masks, but he was still shot on the head, that tells you that you're not safe. As much as you'll be quiet and not talk about police brutality, it doesn't mean that you're not safe. Ojwang was actually killed, or was brought from their home to Nairobi to be killed, to be murdered. That tells you that still you're not safe even in your home. So keeping quiet and taking it as normal, that is not, it will not guarantee you your safety. And to people who actually go to work during demonstration, what the government has shown by shooting Eli today is that what they're telling you is they're not guaranteeing your safety. And as a government, that is their mandate to guarantee you your safety. So it means that when you go to your office, they'll still shoot you in the head the same way they shot Eli. Another thing that I also want to send, send my appreciation to Boda Boda Association, Nairobi. Today we saw humanity in them. They were actually protecting us who were protesting. As much as there were goons being brought by the government operatives, but the Boda Boda Association of Nairobi actually protected the peaceful protesters. And to the government, I want to say that you're feeding a monster that soon would come and feed on you.
All right, thank you very much, Collins. Messenger here.
Well, you see, Kagina, we are seeing the government compensate those who have been bereaved. My question is, when Albert Ojwang's father goes back home and the whole community at home knows he has gotten close to 5 million from the government, mnadhani mmepe huyo mzee stress inakaaje? Kila mtu anaenda kwake kumwambia tunajua na do tuchote. Another thing I would like to request of the president to please explain to us why he is cutting the RSF, why the budget has been increased to the security 475 billion. Is it because the RSF need more weapons in Sudan? I would really like to understand that relationship. We are calling on the ICC to come to Kenya and help us. And lastly, I'd like to remind you of 25th June. We are calling our parents, we are calling our grandparents, we are calling all comrades to come to the streets, tuvunje, tubonde, tukate hii minyororo ya ukoloni mamboleo. Thank you.
Well, it's been a candid conversations. Watu wameongea imewatoka. But my closing thoughts would be, you know, the direct translation for security organs ni vitengo vya usalama. Slowly from the scenes that are currently happening, we know it's just a number of you, but the scenes that are happening are making that translation become harder because people are no longer feeling safe in the hands of police. You're our brothers, you're our sisters, you are our relatives, you are our friends. This is our country. Let us not destroy it, no matter where the orders are coming from. Power is short-lived, but humanity is the core of this life. Miss K.
Thank you so much, Kagina, for that powerful outro. Na watu wameongea ikawatoka hapa studio, acha tusikie watu wameongea pale home, iwatoke kivipi. Again, the question tonight was, police brutality imekuwa norm, right? You guys at home, mmesema, one guy called Jose, amesema, man, iko hivi, when intelligent people keep quiet, fools multiply. Wanatuzima ndio wafanye upuzi huku nje, and we can't let it happen anymore. Thank you, Joseph, for your feedback. Another person says, Kenyans are on their own. The police aren't there to secure the masses. Instead, they secure the rungu-wielding thugs. So the state can no longer secure the business community, and they have left that job for the rogue armed goons. Another person says, hi, it's so sad these killings should stop. May the souls of the fallen comrades rest in peace. And the congregation says, amen. Oscar from Miwani, Kisumu County, anasema, police brutality in Kenya is uncouth. They are not above the laws of land, and may Kenya Army should come in to defend this nation from this insanity. Thank you, Oscar. Another person says, mentioning that the society under leadership is rotten, in short, corruption, has taken several innocent lives to graves. Then what are we supposed to talk about for us to be safe? Ni Mungu tu. Siku hizi mimi ni kutazama kwa TV na kusikiza kwa redio. Ni Mungu tu. Kibunja here, truth being told, the police aren't the only ones to blame, or those hired goons should be ashamed for betraying us as a country and as a generation. Thank you so much for your feedback. This has been quite an interesting conversation, and we hope to have more. Now, as we close the show tonight, here are my 2 cents. As rogue police officers continue to kill aimlessly and blaming it on walls, I wonder what lie will be cooked to cover today's shooting. Will they claim the videos and photos circulating are AI? Will they say this incident took place in another African country? Will they say the cop who opened fire was not a cop, but a goon in their uniform who happened to own an AK-47? Lakini tumeona wamesema they have arrested the person. So that's good. Wakubwa, whatever lie you see fit this time, have it in mind that Kenyans are way over your gimmicks. It's only a matter of time and the right amount of pressure from them and the remaining sane government officials that will have the whole system in line. I mean, the DIG has already stepped aside because of the said pressure. Not fired, not resigned, but progress has been made. And to you, Mr. President, our head of state, mandated to protect the dignity of the people of Kenya, who, by the way, just in case you are not aware, are getting killed ovyo. You have chosen to pick this as the best time to tell the people that you cannot be distracted, that you are the man on a mission to transform this country, and no amount of noise nor propaganda will stop you, that you are willing to pay the price, whatever it is. So, dear Mr. President, what if the price is families having to bury their members because those who refer to you as chief commander brutally murdered their kinsmen, and you do not call them out because maybe this would interfere with your version of a transformed country? Are you truly willing to pay that price? I rest my case. That's it from us today. My name is Miss Kahiro, and this has been the Gen Z Manifesto. See you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Good night.
TV Muthegi wa Rũrĩrĩ.
Umenivunja mkono. Umeniua. Kwa nini uniue?
This Wednesday on the People Dialogue, are Kenyans safe? Are you safe? Is the country experiencing an aggressive return of state repression?
No one else should die. The Ministry of Interior suffers from leadership crisis.
More than 150 cases of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances in 2024 alone. The number now growing in 2025.
Article 26, right to life, bado wamebreak. Hakuna venye comrade anaweza kufia kwa cell and then tukuje tuambie atalijipigisha ukuta.
Is the state protecting its citizens or persecuting them?
National Police Service is turning into a deep thorn.
We must also find resources to expeditiously make our police station safe haven for those who are going there to get justice.
The People Dialogue, Police Brutality and Enforced Disappearances. On Wednesday, only on K24 and Kameme TV.
One day, while teaching an oral health care class, I saw a little boy who kept covering his mouth.
It turns out he had lost some of his teeth and he fell